This is all screwed up. Something happened. Got dropped. Go to home page and get on new live. I am a noob. Sorry, I'm trying to warn people that I screwed up. Yeah, that's some good quality right there. What the hell is the quality in right now? If anybody knows, let's see. Don't mess with me. I'm using a new phone, okay? Mute, save, I don't know. South Florida checking in. How you doing over there? FYI, part of being live is staying in frame. I'm trying. Leave me alone, okay? I'm normally using a computer for my other screen, so it works. I just ordered a Wilson EDC X9. That's a good gun. Hello, James. How are you? So yeah, I'll try to stay in frame, but as you can see, I'm in my office actually. I don't normally do anything from here, so also I hope it doesn't drop. If you have any audio problems or anything like that, let me know. Why is this thing? Will it let me go any higher? Will it let me go any higher? Not much, Mr. Williams. So, anyways, live streams. Question, should I do 2 a week, 3 a week, 2 a week, 3 a week, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, something or other? I don't know. Let me know down below. Held for review. Oh, that's always fun. No, that's fine. Another moderator just handled this. Who's another moderator? What? Huh. If somebody's a moderator, let me know down below, because I don't recall making somebody a moderator. Holy cow, look at all these. I have to read off of here because I can't read off that screen. So, Little White Privilege. I want to get a CZ Shadow carry next, but the local shop also just got a Piston LWRC. I'd go with the LWRC because the shadows are going to be available a lot more. Why is this thing doing this? Hold on, let me see if I can lock in. There, is that brighter? There, that's brighter. Okay. My screen is just, I have an LED light above me, so I apologize. Nothing like chaos. Let's see, SoCal watching, awesome. 100 rounds out of the 17L today. I like the 17L. Checking it from the UK, awesome, cool. You'll hammer me. Well, I don't have any mods. That's why I'm trying to figure it out, unless somebody from YouTube's actually watching, which could be funny. Normally, this is just an Ask Me Anything, so feel free to ask me anything, but we will talk about a couple of topical things. Number one, pistol braces. The injunction is fully in place, so we have full protection. If you own a firearm with a brace on it, you no longer have to worry about getting your brace taken from you and becoming a felon. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me grab a bigger light. It's okay, you can hear me. Hopefully this will provide more light and stuff. Oh, you ever have one of those days where nothing goes right? I was taking a nap, having a great day. Really? There we go. And then all of a sudden, everything just happens. Probably gonna knock you guys over. That's my hand somewhere. Hi. I don't know if this is even gonna work. Let's see what that does. Does that help? Who knows? There we go. Actually, that does. All right. They want to get $1,800 for the piston ARUs. I thought it was a little high, or should I offer? I don't know too much about the market on LWRC. We didn't carry them down at Middletown or at Liberty, so it's going to be kind of up to you. Use your best judgment. If you think you can get another piston-driven one, I know some of the SIG stuff is like the treads are piston driven, and you can get those for under $1,000. So are you a good enough shooter to make it a difference between an $1,800 and $1,000 gun? It's up to you. Let's see. P.S. You have a lot of the same guns I own. I buy a lot of guns. I actually picked up two guns yesterday, the ones from the picture that's up on the channel. And turns out I've owned the FX9 before, and I actually own the the FNP, which is a predecessor to it as well. And I did videos on both of them 3 years ago. Just didn't remember it. I prefer LED over fluorescent. Yeah, this is an old office building though. I threw an LED bulb up there, but it's not really, the reflector isn't out. It was just in my hallway, but it seems to be helping a little bit. Days, you mean years? Yeah, thoughts on the Prodigy 4.25 1-on-1? I think I've answered this before, and it's the same answer that I'll give now. If you're going to buy a 4.25-inch Prodigy, you have to, number one, if it's a first release, like the early release ones, take your mags apart, stretch your springs, or get get some staccato mags. Magazines make all the difference when you're talking about feeding issues, so get those. Second, the sear needs to be polished or replaced. We've had a few come in where they need to be polished because when you release the slide, if you own one, and you can confirm this, the slide can catch when it's going forward and stop on the sear. I wish they would let me show guns on live streams, but previous bad things that have happened to people, they don't allow you to show guns on live streams anymore. So because of that, I can't demonstrate what I'm talking about, but if you ever go to a gun store, pick one up and rack it, and when you bring the slide home, you'll feel it catch on the sear. All the MIM parts that it uses are pretty bad. So 10.8 Performance Lab, I love their stuff. He sells like a $400 or $500 kit that replaces all the parts that are MIM with stainless, and it helps the guns immensely. And you can probably find the gun for about $1,300, maybe less used, and then you can put 4 or 5 into it and still be under a staccato. Let's see. Thoughts on Bull Armory and a Springfield TRP operator. Bull Armory is an incredible builder. They make very good high-end race guns. They make very good guns that are sold by Desert Eagle under the Magnum Research brand, and they also make those Axe and Claw Glock 17 clones. I'm not really a big fan of those. I've held those. They seem a little bit cheap, but the 1911s are really good. I think they have good ideas, and their build quality is top-notch. So don't be afraid to buy one of those. But yes, as we were saying before, the injunction is in place, so your pistol braces are legal again. So all you guys that got the free tax stamp, congratulations, you got a free tax stamp, but you don't have to do that anymore. In fact, my buddy has been seeing a lot of rifle uppers being traded in because people are putting their pistol ones back on. So in terms of the TRP operator, I've never owned the TRP operator. I just had the base operator, but it was all Wilson combated out. I really like them. TSOS 911S. Which one's the 911S? The stainless? If it's the stainless, I've had that one. I've also had the compact black one. They're both fine. TSOS and the Gersons can be a little fiddly when it comes to hollow points. Mag can change, or mag difference. This is where I'd be restarting the video. But the mags can make a big difference when it comes to those guns, because the stronger follower, unlike a Wilson Combat or a Chip McCormick mag, will hold the rounds up higher, so they'll feed easier. The standard mags that they come with are cheap and they can nosedive. So keep that in mind as you're buying those. Question is after fire. XDS. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say. I had the XDM Elite, and I like that. The Echelon, which has replaced it, is a much better gun because it eliminates the grip safety, which a lot of people didn't like. But it also just feels like a more modern handgun with the chassis system and everything that it has. It seems like a better gun. And I like the optics mounting system where you don't need plates. It just uses pins, and then it holds the optic in place, because less platage makes it easier to keep everything flat. The disconnector catches. Disconnector. Thank you. Sear disconnector. You know what I mean. Let's see. I mostly just collect now. I buy Colts and higher end 1911s. I collect coins too, so it gets expensive. I did that for a while. In fact, we're in my office, so I can grab a bunch of crap. Like, are you talking about stuff like that? Like collector coins, things like that? I collect sets. I collect stuff like that. I collect computer equipment, so yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, when it comes to it, I collect stuff too. Bought a Gerson MC Regard, full length and tactical build on it, with the Holo 7 507, and you have 3,500 rounds through it. It should be, even in stock form, the Gerson Regard is a good gun. It's a very faithful recreation of the original M9. It feels a little heavier, mainly because of the metallurgy that the Turkish guns are made out of. It feels like it's not quite up to the American standard. So the metal, it sounds goofy, but when you handle thousands of guns a year, the Gersons feel heavier than what they're copying, if that makes sense. But it's a good feeling gun. If you remember, I had the white and gold MC Regard. Loved that gun. I sold it. I sell a lot of the niche guns that I wind up picking up, but I do have a lot of the guns that I loved, and I still keep those. Got an aftermarket slide for a Glock 17 and 19. Issues are failing to go into battery while trying to chamber around with a 20-pound. The recoil spring is one part of it, but if it's not going into battery while it's chambering around, I would start by taking all the finish off the internals on the rails of the slide itself, polish the shite out of them, take them all the way down to bare metal if you have to, because what it sounds like, it just like in a 1911 and stuff, they have a disconnector in this here. If you look in, take the top off, and you'll see where the slide runs over the disconnector. If the slides are too thick, and a lot of aftermarket companies use like super thick coatings, if that's too thick, a couple of thousandths will actually stop the gun from going back into battery. So I would start there, take all the finish off the inside of the rails, and then put it back together. I would start with like 320, 400, 600, 800 grit, 1000 grit, and go up to 1200 grit. Do it slowly, and then you'll find where it's perfect, and then you'll have a super smooth Glock. Yes, disconnector, excuse me. When I say sear disconnector, you know that what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's the little itty bitty thing that pops up. Sear is in the back. So pardon me if I use the wrong terminology when I'm talking. It's my fault, and I apologize. Forgive me. I'm human. Kind of. So what else has come out in the news? Has anybody gotten their hands on a Witness 2311 yet? I'm still waiting to get mine. If you've gotten one or you've gotten to play with one, let me know what you think about those. I've been looking for one. I'm on every list to get one. And as soon as I can get one, I'm going to, because that's basically a Prodigy for $1,000. But because I have connections in the business, I'll be able to get them at cost or just at cost. And so $800 for a 2011 ought to be pretty nice. Grabbed the 17L last week. You're loving it and waiting for the Witness. Yeah, from your FFL. So are you in line to get it and he just hasn't received it yet, or is he just waiting to be able to order it? I'm going to increase this because all I need this for is chat. Oh, look at that. Now I can read it. Awesome. Nope, nope. Kimber Cobra Target. Didn't even know they were doing a Kimber Cobra. I've been out of the business for 3 months, so there's a few things I've missed. So keep me informed if there's little things there. Correct, you're waiting for it. Yeah, I have access. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Since you can't see my screen, I'm actually going to bring up a couple of my distributors. I still have all the logins. And see if they've changed from coming soon. Helps if I can read. There we go. No. I want to sign in. I'm not screen sharing my password, so sorry. Oh, I feel so old I have to scroll twice to get to my birth year. Hi. There we go. Please. Oh, you son of a bitch. Can you tell what I'm typing just from the sound? You bastards. Riveting live experience right here, kids. Make sure that's right. Looks good. Yahoo! Sorry, I'm looking this up right now. Oh. See, my problem is I'm getting the 45, not the 9. I might get the 9 and the 45, but looks like the 4.25 and the 5-inch ones are both listing as new, not coming soon. So I think all the 2311s are about to drop. They actually even sell one that has an optic already on it, and it's like an extra $80. So they're doing a 10 millimeter and 5 and 6 inch, 9 millimeter, 5 inch, 4.25 inch, 10 millimeter, 4.25 inch, and then they're doing the 45 ACP and 4.25 and 5 inch. So I'm on the bucket list for the 5 inch 45. I'll probably get the 5 inch and 9 millimeter as well. So we'll just tink. Oh, I've also got a distributor's cell phone number. I should be calling that guy. Let's go back to here because I exited out. Because if you didn't know, I'm a dumbass. Hi, good to meet you. All right, so why am I getting my own? Hey, keep it civil. Okay. I'm waiting for King Cobra. Okay, 22 Colt 10 shot. That's kind of cool. Wow. S23 picks up all the crap. Apollo 11, any experience? No. Good movie. That was Apollo 13. I have the Gerson 4.49 millimeter MCT with the red dot. Did a full polish, a few upgrade. Gun eats everything, never jams or has a problem. Nice. Kimber sucks lately. That is crazy if it has no rifling. I'm going to agree. Their manufacturing has gone downhill recently. I have the stainless Arctic lightweight. I have the classic. I have a Warrior, and I have, well, I sold my my custom because I bought a SIG 220 Legion that didn't work, but you know, stuff happens. Only thing I've noticed with the Gerson 1911 is that their sear springs swappable with some combat and good to go. The EAA sear springs look like they are stamped from beer cans. I don't know. Then the manufacturer's at fault when you wind up with an auto sear. Gun go. Checking in from Central PA. What's your opinion on Kel-Tec? Kel-Tec is amazing because they single-handedly save the cocaine industry every year before SHOT Show. I appreciate what they can do. I've owned the Sub 2K, the PMR 30, the CMR 30. I haven't owned the P50 yet. I've had the SU 25 or 25, 22. I've had the SU 16. They're interesting guns. They're cheaply built, but for the majority of them, they've run. Although they did lead to Sky, so I don't forgive them for that. What's a better way to load ammo in a magazine? All depends. If you're like me and I have massive nerve damage and I have the boxers break in this hand, you can see how short my pinky is, and I can't feel my hands, so I can't load very well. So I use an Uplula. You can use that ETS stick loader, which is actually kind of cool. They're cheaper and effective, but not as quick, in my opinion. They say they're fast, but you got to be very deliberate with it. Where an Uplula, you just squeeze and push, squeeze and push, squeeze and push. So personally, Uplula. 210 carry. We had one, again, it's one of those ones that is very rare. You're not going to see them very much in the open. We had one down at the other store. I wanted to buy it. Wasn't getting a good deal on it, so I passed on it. Feels amazing. The trigger is amazing. Reset, not so much, but the trigger, the single action pull on it was amazing. But $1,500 for that single stack where it doesn't have the aftermarket compatibility or upgradability of the 1911s, I'm going to pass. B&T is Caltech, but if they were made by Rolex. It's a good equation. You know, where Caltech is like Casio and B&T is Rolex. I can see that. Although B&T doesn't get off 100% free. I've seen some of their guns that are really fugly. Which Caltech 40? Your sub 2K? Or did they do a PF in 40? It's a good question. There's one for you guys. What about the Grand Power lineup? Remember when that came back for a few years during like 18, 19? Everybody had Grand Powers. Now they're all gone. I had a big swig of soda. Thoughts on the Mark IV Target Bull Barrel? Never shot one. The Mark IV Target Bull Barrel. Let me... Or have I? I like Google. They make those weird numbers go into my bank account every month. Okay, so the one with the bull barrel has the more traditional frame on it, not the Mark IV 22 Lite. Gotcha. I don't know. Looks like a nice gun. It's a fixed barrel with the bolt, so it should be pretty accurate. PO7 Duty. I've had one. I prefer my PO1 Tactical. The PO7 is nice. I prefer an all-steel gun. But if I had to not use the Tactical, I would take a 07. Have you reviewed the TSOS Night Stalker? No, I haven't. We had one at the store. The funny thing about that is the Night Stalker is literally an emissary. TSOS copied the emissary and called it the Night Stalker. Actually, let me double check because recently I've forgotten all the guns I've looked at. If you look at the Negotiator from Gerson, TSOS or Gerson, one of them, Gerson's Negotiator, that is literally a operator, but gold and gray. Let's go to my channel here. Nope. Let's see. Is it okay to leave ammo when not using the gun for the long time? It's been proved that it doesn't affect it as much as weather condition and storage conditions can affect how it actually functions, because if you store the magazines loaded in a space where there's high moisture or any water or anything like that, you can actually corrode the rounds themselves, which can cause feeding issues. You can corrode the spring, which can affect its elasticity. However, there are plenty of videos out there that show guys that have stored their magazines loaded for years. Some as experiments, some just because they were in their safes, and they fire fine. The caveat to that is it depends on the brand. I would not trust a Pro Mag to be loaded for a long time. I would not trust an ETS to be loaded for a long time. I would not trust a lot of magazine manufacturers that sell mags for guns that are pennies on the dollar. They're going to probably explode. Have you used the Glock 17 Gen 5? Did it jam? Did it not lock in the open position after the last bullet? I have had the Gen 5. I've not had that problem. The Gen 5 seems to be a pretty solid gun. That's weird that it's not locking back, but it's not uncommon. Was it a new or used gun that you were shooting? I'm going to stare at you until you answer. Okay, for those of you who don't know, First Sergeant Richard's my father. So, you know, there are 3 safes downstairs. Have fun. New gun, and it wasn't locking open. I mean, they're all pretty damn simple. That's a 2-pin design. Unless your magazine was causing it, if the follower wasn't coming enough to lock the slide lock open, or if you were thumbing it down, I'm not 100% sure. I've personally not had that experience. Usually they run fine. As crappy as I think Glocks are, they are reliable, if nothing else, usually. P40, Kel-Tec, P40, yep. Well, I did buy the handgun I really wanted, which was the DWX, but I sold it again because I shot it once after buying it. I'm very flaky with that gun. The funny thing is, my buddy Darren bought it. He sold it to me. I sold it back to the store. He bought it back. I bought it back. I sold it back. He bought it back. So it's only had 2 owners, but it's got 5 owners on it. Although, if I could have any gun right this second, it would be the Lagos Alien. That is an amazing shooting gun. We had a customer when I was down at Liberty Arms order 2 of them at $4,500 a piece. I did a video. Check it out. And yeah, he ordered 2 of them, one to shoot and one to display. I wish I had that problem. I'm not a rifle guy, so I really don't. I'd probably buy another Banshee. Probably like probably one chambered in 45 ACP. I think they make one, don't they? Pretty sure they do. Any other interesting gun news? Oh, Texas Silencer Shop. Out of business. Quietly. I was at Middletown. We had their suppressors, and Liberty Arms had their suppressors, and they just closed up shop. So, yeah, no more Texas Silencer Shop. They gave too many suppressors to Demo Ranch, I guess. Decent quality. I'm buying the... I'm going to watch how I hold my hands. But I'm doing a 7.5-inch 300 blackout build with the suppressor, and it's going to be an SBR, because Unique ARs out of Idaho sent me an upper and an extra handguard, and the 30 cal can fits perfectly inside of the 15-inch handguard. So I'll have a 7.5-inch barrel, 8-inch suppressor, 15.5-inch handguard. So that's going to be awesome, and it'll be an SBR. So can't wait to get that put together. Do you recommend getting a slide and barrel from the same manufacturer for tolerance and compatibility issue? Only if they're actually sold as a set. Because if they're not sold as a set, there's no guarantee that even from the same manufacturer that they're going to be compatible. Unless the manufacturer has fit the two together at the manufacturing plant or the facility where they build them, there's no guarantee they're going to work any better. I've routinely run Zev barrels and other guns. Never had a problem. Buy from a more reputable brand and you'll have a lot better chance of compatibility. Glocks are like Legos for adults, just like ARs. You can buy multiple different manufacturers, put them together, and probably have a functioning gun. 1911s are a little more picky. Like if you've ever bought Wilson Combat's bulletproof stuff and tried to put them on like a standard one. I put a Wilson Combat extended beaver tail on an IAI hardballer, and I had to do some fitting. We did a threaded barrel on another buddy's 45 that needed fitting. Some of them, what the links won't line up. So some of those could be affected by it, but for more modern guns with optional slides like the CZ Shadow lineup, the manufacturing companies for that, and the Glocks, you're going to have a better chance of compatibility without having to buy them together. All right, favorite gun. Go. There's 17 of you. Or are you just sitting there watching? It's a little green dot. Sniper. Oh, it's on my phone. Never mind. 16 of you. I scared one of you off. The Sand Viper. Looks like a beautiful gun. The Sand Viper, and I would really like to get one of the older Terran Tactical 1911s, the ones from like John Wick 2. Was it John Wick 2 or John Wick 3? Atlas Athens, 19X with a comp. Beretta 92 FS or M9. 19X with a comp. M9. Yeah, you carried that when you were in the military. Jericho 941 steel. Good choice. If you want a overbuilt CZ75, it's a good choice. The 19X is fine. Question mark, he asks. I don't think I've owned one yet. Have I owned one? I made my own custom one. I mixed parts from a 45 and a 19X together, but I don't think I kept those. A Staccato. Why would you buy a Staccato? Just kidding. They're good guns. They're overpriced, but they're good guns. I would actually try to find an old STI Edge or one of their Eagles. Just as good quality, older, and in 45. I'm a 45 ACP dude. First gun I've ever bought an actual built. Aaron, not Aaron. What's your opinion for a budget handgun for the wife? Recoil being important, and she prefers a larger grip. The Equalizer, Smith & Wesson Equalizer. It's 9mm, so it's not going to be terribly snappy. It's a larger gun, comes with 13, 15, and 17 round mags. It has a super easy slide, like you can use it with your pinky, so it's easy to rack, and they come optics ready. Comes with an uplula in the box and 3 mags for like $500. So in my opinion, that would be, as budget, I would go with something I'm going to trust my life with that can handle the recoil without being overly large. Nighthawk for the wind. For the wind. Nighthawk for the wind. I like Nighthawk. I've taken a few of them apart. I don't know if they're worth 4K. I'll put my Rock Island up against one any day. No problem, Aaron. I mean, if you need to go super budget, a G3, believe it or not, is a perfectly fine gun. And I'm talking about the full size. If you get the Toro, they're like $360. Also optics ready, 17 round mags, easy to run. They take down like a Glock. They're half the price of a Glock. Maybe consider one of those if you want to go super budget. Oh, I can read that from here. Sandhawk. Which one's the Sand? Is Athens maker of the Sandhawk? Oh, Nighthawk. Okay. Oh, it's an optics cut, 1911. Gotcha. What's that new one that's coming out? Isn't there a new one coming out? That not the Platypus. There's another one that takes Glock mags. Correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think there is. That is pretty. Or is that the one that takes the Glock mags? I paid $6,000 to have no recoil. Oh, another thing I want to point out to you guys, these guys that make these thumbnails where they talk about $8,000-$10,000, and they have, like, this guy's got, well, he's only got 30,000 views, so he probably hasn't gotten his money back. But when you watch Kentucky Ballistic and he blows up a Barrett, and you're like, oh my God, how can you waste $6,000? And he gets 7 million views on that video. Dude's doing well. He probably made $15,000 to $20,000 just on the video, not counting his sponsors. So I don't have any sponsors yet. In my long form videos, I get 100,000 a month views, not dollars. And I get 3.9 million views on the shorts. So yeah, that's a good one. Mim or billet? What's your budget? If you don't have the budget, you got to go Mim. I've seen some expensive ass guns that are running Mim parts, not just Rock Island. That Springfield Operator, the base one, the one that's $1,300, has a MIM safety and a MIM grip safety. So you're going to find MIM and guns going, well, Prodigy, $1,500, all MIM parts. Staccato, $2,500 billet parts. So I guess it's up to you. Do you want to do your own work? Do you like doing your own work? Then get something that has MIM parts and swap them out. But for non-essential parts, I don't care about MIM. it can be MIM. I just don't like the hammer to be MIM. I don't like the trigger to be MIM, and I don't like the slide lock to be MIM, especially on a 1911, because that retains the entire upper, and I've seen those snap. G3 Tactical is nice. Yes, it is. I've owned one. I had it stippled, didn't like the stippling, sold it. I'm thinking about buying another one, but I just picked up that FX9, and I got to get rid of that because, again, I did a video on it 3 years ago, right when I was getting COVID and didn't realize it. Yeah, there's a whole string of videos in late 2020 where I actually had COVID, and it was before it really became a big thing. And everybody was telling me I had COVID, and I was like, no, you're wrong. I'm fine. Didn't go well. So never owned a Rock Island, have many TSOS and Gersons. I think you want it. Definitely. TAC Ultra is a great way to get into a full rail gun, full dust cover gun. Rock Islands do have the ability to be very nice and very smooth. I tend to polish mine out, although that 22 TCM 9mm combo one that I picked up didn't need it at all. It was just good right out of the box. You sure about that, DB? I'm pretty sure I'll have to grab one when I'm not on camera. Holy shit. And they're still keeping them down that price, huh? How do you date a TSOS? Well, you walk up to it really politely in a bar and buy it a drink. You got me, DB. I just looked it up. Since February of 2023, they stopped using MIM parts in their manufacturer. That puts it up there for me. I like that. My buddy's a gunsmith, bought a TSOS B45, did a slide squeeze and fitted to frame, full Wilson Combat Springs. He likes it so much, he bought a TSOS. There's nothing wrong with them. Thoughts on the Gerson Negotiator? If you watch the video I did, I actually bought one, mainly because my coworker at the time bought one, and he refused to shoot his. So I bought one, and I dropped it in front of him, and then I dropped it again. You should have seen the look on his face. I cleared it, showed him it was clear, and I kind of held out my hand to it, and as soon as his hand touched it, I let it go, and then he watched in horror as it fell and bounced off the counter and hit the ground. Didn't even leave a scratch. Good coatings on those guys, but yeah, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen because he refused to shoot his. And then he was like, he bought another gun, and I said, if you don't, I will buy this one and I will shoot it with my DWX. So yeah, it was kind of funny. We don't talk about him anymore. Hey, good on TSOS, man. That's a good move to make. Makes them easier to kind of fine tune and take care of. So good on them. TSOS versus the Springfield Ronin. I don't have any experience with the Ronin. I've had the TSOS. I've only done videos on the Ronin. It feels very nicely built. Don't get an EMP. If you get an EMP, you have to get specific magazines, but I believe the Ronin takes standard mags. As long as it takes standard mags, I would say you're not going to really go wrong with either choice. So keep it in mind. Go one way or the other, and you should be good. Working at a gun store as long as you did. Any interesting... Oh, man. I'm probably going to court for a couple of them, so those ones I can't really tell you about. But yes, most recently we had a guy come in, and this is actually a failing on the state of Virginia's Virginia's part. Had a kid come in, purchased a handgun. A month later, he comes in to buy a rifle, and he gets denied. This was like in June. I got a phone call a few weeks ago from the investigator saying that the state had accidentally approved him for the first firearm, and then asked me if he mentioned that he had had a felony before. Like I'm going to cover for somebody. I ain't a snitch, but I ain't going to lie either. No, We've had people come in and say, hey, I had a felony in the 80s. Can I buy a gun? That always makes me laugh. When it's a clear straw purchase, when dude walks in and he's FaceTiming a buddy of his and showing him the guns in the case, and then he's like, yeah, I want to buy that one. Yeah, it's like they think that we don't care. It's a very, very big fine if you sell a gun to somebody who shouldn't own a gun. Yeah, it's a personal problem too, because you can lose your seller's license. You can go to jail for knowingly selling guns to people that shouldn't own firearms. I had one person come in, lie on their form, get denied, claim that their case had been kicked, and then their husband calls up and says, don't worry, he's going to buy guns for him and his wife. Somebody that just got denied. And he was going to buy her a gun and give her a gun. Think about that. New question. Or not. Somebody give me a question. You guys just like hearing me talk, don't you? You like my paper towel roll? I call them towel-y. But yeah, I'm back in my office most days just because it's easier to relax. I just kind of use my laptop and sit and watch videos. Never had more naps than when I owned my own business. That wasn't dangerous. Let's see, other things that are going on. Talk about anything political? Oh, all the people that make videos where they're trying to... Hello. Ever have a negligent discharge in the store? No. Thankfully. We've had people try to have them, but no. We've stopped several people. Had a guy bring in a Desert Eagle 44 Magnum and hand it to my guy with a round in it. Kept claiming it was empty. I had a guy bring me a Walther PK 380 telling me it was empty. Tried pointing it at me, and then I took it away, and when I racked it, a round came out. But no, luckily we've not had any negligent discharges in my store. Would you keep your Glocks stock? I have 4 that are stock and 3 that are fully customized, and 1 I just sold. If I'm going to use it as a carry piece, I tend to keep those guns as stock as possible. Couple of reasons. Number one, again, a Glock is a boring ass gun. It's not innovative in any way, but it goes bang every damn time you pull it. So I would trust my life to a Glock. I just don't trust my internet clout to a Glock. The customized ones, some of them that I have like 2, 3, 4,000 rounds through, I would probably carry them, but I would not carry one that's stupidly customized. If it's made specifically to be offensive, that can actually be used against you in a court of law. If you have one with a trigger that's been replaced, say like I run Steel City Arsenal in my upgraded Glocks, and they have like 2-pound triggers, 2.5-pound triggers, a prosecutor could say that you made that gun more lethal for the intent purpose of killing somebody. So for the most part, my carry guns are stock. My customized guns are the ones that I take to the range. Do you think ammo prices will go up a bunch in the near future? Well, 5.56, 223 did, since manufacturers, a couple of them have decided to just send their ammo to the military and over to the Ukraine. It's back up to $1 a damn round. 9mm has stabilized. 45 needs to come down a little bit more, especially since I'm playing with 45s again. 22 is always a safe bet, but yeah, 223 going over to the Ukraine has really pissed off a lot of people. Let's see. Glocks are like a Toyota Camry. Reliable, always runs, still don't want one. You should own one. You have to own one to be a Glock guy. Just get a 19 or a 17 and just put it in your safe. It's like if you're a car guy, because I'm a car guy as well, you have to own certain cars to qualify as a car guy. You have to own like a Fiat or a Porsche, or depending on what club you belong in, you have to have a certain type of car. If you want to be like a Z guy, you have to have owned like a 240Z or a 300ZX. And with guns, you have to own a Glock. They suck, but they also teach you how to adjust to a gun that has a weird-ass grip angle. So, buy a Glock, just for fun. How you trolls doing? Hey, Tim. I don't understand why people are that dumb to not clear a gun before going into the gun store. Dude, you've been in there, Tim. You've seen some of the people that are in there. At 3, I'll get another one only because of the aftermarket support, but blah. Exactamundo. I'm a car guy. Yes, you are. You're the reason I'm a car guy. First Sarge. G41 shoots like a dream. Hey, dude, how are you? I'm good, Tim. How are you doing, man? I know I haven't been down to the store in a long time. I got to stop in tomorrow. I think I'm going to trade that FN for one of those para ordinances that have been in the case forever. Hafu RPS. So yeah, no. Yeah, I've been a car guy for a long time. Interesting story how I got into the car business. I was working at the Mall of America at a TJ Maxx, and we went drinking, and I flipped over a railing and broke my foot, so I couldn't work as a stalker anymore. So I was taking a drive around. I stopped at this car lot, little independent car lot, but he was like the biggest used, like, bad credit car lot in the cities. And he had a Firebird Trans Am manual, and this was in January, and I went in and tried to drive it with a cast on my leg. He obviously said no, but he was a dick. I don't know if he watches any of my stuff. Kyle, you know who you are. You were a dick to me. So I went back the next day and got a job there, and I wound up working there for 11 years. Funny how things work out. CA, aka California, is raising tax on top of existing 11% starting next year. Don't you also have to fill out paperwork every time you buy ammunition? I think you do, don't you? I build turbos and engines for a living. My daily 30-year-old 4-cylinder makes 500 wheel horsepower. That's badass. What kind of, what is it, man? Please don't say Civic. Please say it's a Starion. Please. Starion. Please. Any tips on opening a gun shop? It is a pain in the ass. 92 Gallant VR4. You the man. I like you. 4G63. That's a hell of an engine. Oh, 4G64. Okay. Is that different from the 43? Anyways, opening a gun shop. Pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. Because you can't be within a certain distance to schools. Duh. You have to be a certain distance or away from certain facilities, hospitals, places like that. Depending on if you're going to be setting up in a shopping center, you have to find a shopping center that will allow you to open a gun store. Finding financing for a gun store sucks. Getting the process of getting your location set up is actually relatively painless, depending on which version of an FFL you want to do. You just want to do straight FFL, or if you want to do class 3 or even an 0702, which is manufacturing. Those different licenses have different requirements, but if you just want to be a plain gun store with the cost of ammunition, setup, rent, things like that, we were looking at doing one up here, and it was going to be like 300 grand just to start. And then it would have been expensive. So it's not something where you can just walk in anywhere and set up. Plus the rules keep changing. The ATF keeps shutting down private FFLs and littler guys. So you have to be brick and mortar. Like my location here, I'm an LLC. I could set up my 0702 in my location here. I could do class 3 stuff since I've gone through all the training now, which is something I was thinking about doing, becoming an FFL class 3 transfer station, so I can handle the transfer and purchase of suppressors for people. That's only like a $500 license, and I've already got safes and stuff, so that's good to go. But yeah, in terms of opening a gun store, it's a pain in the ass. You're going to spend $40,000 on ammo just to get going. Conquest TSI, yes, good boy. Yes, for ammo and guns, need to fill out papers, and for firearms, it's a 10-day wait period to pick up. That sucks. New Civil War movie coming out. What Civil War movie? I don't watch a lot of movies. Maryland, which is 2 little itty bitty states away from me, they have a 7-day wait. One of my friends lives up there, and I sold him a couple of handguns. We had to go in and do the transfers because no private sales. Yeah, and he had to wait 7 days just to get his guns. Here, it's an instant thing. The only thing I wait for is class 3 stuff. My suppressor took 100 and, what did I say? I did it April, March, April 6th, and I got it October 16th. So what is that? May, June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months, 150. So about 160 days to get mine. You're out. I'm going to be on here for like another, how long have I been going? An hour? I'll be on here until I'm bored. Thanks for stopping by, Aaron. I said Aaron, not Aaron. Aaron. Sorry, I've got a buddy that I call Aaron. 93 Eclipse GT. 93 is the old body style, right? Or is that 92? GT's front wheel drive, but still turbo, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, God, I had all of those. So the first dealership that I was telling you guys I worked at, man, he loved his American cars. When I first started, this was in 2000, 2001. The whole front line was nothing but K5, Blazers, Ford Broncos. Again, this was 2001, so Broncos and K5s were still like relatively inexpensive. And then during the summer, we had nothing but Mustangs, Thunderbirds, Camaros, Firebirds. He barely ever touched foreign cars until I talked him into start buying like 3000 GTs, VR4 Stealth GT twin turbos, RT twin turbos, the Eclipses, and cars like that. And then we started making a killing on those. I had dudes that loved those cars. Gotcha. Yep. Thank you. That's what I was thinking. So, all right, gotcha. So 93, it was the first one. Am I still having issues with your Cajun SPO1? No. I took it completely apart, and for some reason, the trigger bar spring was just a little bit out of alignment. So when it was coming forward, it was actually allowing the slide to come just far enough forward so that it was going past battery, so you had to nudge it back, because when the trigger was resetting and it was coming out, it was releasing the slide just a little bit extra. It's working now. All I did was clean the crap out of it and reassemble it, and it seemed to work fine. So I'm gonna hold out, because otherwise I got to order a new Cajun parts, and I don't feel like changing that out. So also, I used a little bit of Loctite on the set screw for the trigger adjuster, because it's got the adjustable Cajun trigger spring in it, so, or trigger in it, so. I always like the 280Z and the 300Z with the long front, the way they squat and when shifting gears. Yeah, when we were in Germany, when I was a kid, my dad was in the military, career Army, and his lieutenant had a 300ZX twin turbo. He said that was an incredible thing. I never got to ride in that. I always did. But I've had some crazy ass cars, like when I was working in my body shop, because 9/11 happened. Used cars went. 2007, 2008 happened with the buybacks. Used cars went. So I transitioned over to owning a body shop and a mechanic shop, and I got to drive some crazy ass shit. I did the first matte black GTR in Minnesota through my body shop, which was pretty cool, and I got to drive it. Scared the shit out of me. You know what scared the shit out of me more than that was when you pegged the speedometer in a 1990 Dodge Omni on the Autobahn. That was our Germany car, was an Omni. And then everything was still going. They're German cars, so they all have boxers. Love the Nissan Z's, always wanted the 3s, but have you ever seen their engine bays? Drop a 10mm, it's gone. Have you ever tried to do the spark plugs on a 3rd gen Camaro or Firebird with the V8, with the LT1, not the LT1, the tune ports, where you can't go up from underneath because they have metal wheel wells, and you can't get to the exhaust because they're in the way? Same thing. On a straight PO1? Which version? If you're talking about the compact PO1, I'm not a fan. I'd actually rather have a PO7 compact. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". I don't look like it on camera because I'm usually sitting, but I'm not. See, I'm tall. But yeah, so full size handguns are where I go. I can pocket carry a 5-inch 1911. So no, Tim, you were right the first time. Fisted rabbits can only run so fast. You're waiting for the import market bubble to pop. Where are you, James? Did you say in the beginning? Small pocket. No, you didn't. Where are you from, James? Eh, scroll up. Oh yeah. I like to buy random auctions, and these are all the things that aren't worth selling. So I'm rebuilding my collection from that. If you actually look down there, you can see it's all hello battery. But yeah, I do all kinds of stuff with that. In fact, that's all stuff I'm still sorting from the last purchases. Those are all my computers that I'm still working on. Yes, that's an old Mac LC. Told you, I'm a nerd. Alabama, so you're actually not that far. I see. Yeah, it took me 3 months to fit it. They still have working age. Just do a remote oil cooler. Relocate the whole thing. Just get the. I'm sure they must sell a kit for the VR4s, but relocate your oil filter. JB Cool, Alabama. Let me see if they have some good deals on some stuff. Hold on, Jeff. If you're willing to take a little bit of a drive, there's a place here called Japanese Classics LLC. They're down in Richmond, Virginia, and they do a lot of really reasonable price on cars. Like if you were going for the R32s, if you had bought one in Florida, they were running like 40, 45. That was before the R33s, and now the R34s are legal again. I was driving one back in 2004 when they were still legal. Thank you, Motorex, you son of a bitches. You're probably not watching this video, but if you are Motorex employees, you guys suck. But yeah, I used to drive an R34 at the dealership. But let's see, they got Lancer Evo 6, 26 grand. Probably not the best price, but for a low kilometer import, that ain't bad. How about a right-hand drive Torino SIR? Yeah, let's see if they got any Skylines. R32, 24 grand. What the hell is that? Ooh. They got a... sorry. This is a rabbit hole for me. Some of these Japanese cars, man, they're just too damn nice. Let me see if they have anything sold recently in the Skylines, though. 6-speed manual 2JZ GTE Toyota Aristo, which is basically a Lexus GS300, but 6-speed manual with the 2JZ for 30 grand. I don't think I should be advertising for somebody who isn't asking me to, but yeah, Japanese classics, man. Come here, you son of a... I'm so skilled. You seeing that there? You seeing that there? Right there. Hold on. There. 6-speed manual. Yeah. This is how you live stream, right? Look at that thing. Actually, I don't know I'm showing you guys that. I might have to give them a call. Durango might have to go away. 133 Ks. That's not bad. That's like, what, 80,000 miles or 70,000 miles? Yeah, that's crazy right there. Rick, I need your credit card. Sorry, that was a weird tangent. I apologize. Should have looked at that earlier. Beretta M9A4 is sold in your state? Yes, it's sold in most of the states. I don't know if it's on the California roster, but Virginia, there are no guns that are restricted from sale here. No love for the VR4s because only got 3,000 of them got sent here. Yeah, I remember back in the day, I wanted one of those 99 22Bs. You know, the ones that are selling for $500,000 now. They were like 60 grand in 2001. Wife drives an Evo 9. Beautiful car. Had one of those. Do you know more about guns than cars now? I know more about modern guns than cars. Although I still work on cars too. But yes, I know more about the modern guns because I don't care about hybrids and electric cars. My knowledge stopped in 2017 when I almost died and quit the business. Message retracted. What are you sorry for? Thinking about selling my GR for 2000 IS 300, swap the pistons and head. Yeah, that is true. I missed the opportunity when I was still selling cars at the independent place. We had a Lexus SC 300 with the manual come in, and those have the 1JZs in them, non-turbo. But again, you do the same thing, head and turbo. You have a 2JZ. Yeah, James, dude, check them out. Japanese Classics, LLC. They've never even heard of me, but I've stopped in there one time when I was doing a dealer transfer for a Ford. I had to go down to Richmond, and they had one there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that is true. I remember when the VR4s and the Stealth RT twin turbos first came out, and they had that 6-speed all-wheel drive system, and that transmission was like $5,000 to replace it. I have a bad history with Mercedes-Benz. I also have a bad history with Volvo. Let me know if you want to hear that story. Fuck me. Oh man, dude, this car is so pretty. Oh. Problem with these guys is they have third-party lenders, and stupid me, I bought a practical car and bought a Durango Hemi. Instead, I could be driving a 350 horsepower-ish. It's got exhaust. Looks like new downpipes, frame stiffeners, exhaust. Anybody want to buy a 2015 Durango RT? Later, need to go find some pizza. All right, you have fun, old man. Problem is finding, let's see, I know a lot about Mercedes. Yep, I've been a mechanic for 24 years. There's a reason why Mercedes-Benz drop like a rock the minute they exit their warranty. It's the same problem with Range Rovers, Land Rovers, Mercedes, older Cadillacs, BMWs. Actually, I want to do a funky build on one and let me know your opinion on this. I haven't seen one yet. A BMW M6 competition 6-speed manual with a LS swap or an LT4 swap, something like that. I've been thinking about that because you can find manual transmission M6s because the V10 eats itself. For those of you that don't know, they have a 5-liter V10 with no cylinder liners. So when they go, they just let go. Then the car is worthless. You can get manual M6s for like $5,000 with blown engines. Swap an LT4 in there. Even if you got to get rid of the BMW 6-speed, it's already set up for a manual transmission. So put an LT4 with the 6-speed out of a Camaro. Done. That's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? Let me know. Almost bought a Mercedes though. So I had a Ram. Got out of the Ram for damn near what I owed on it. So it was a good thing to run away from because I bought the Ram during COVID. Bought a Ford Fusion, had a bad transmission. Bought a Lexus with 40, it was a ES350 that had 61,000 miles on it but it had been sitting so long that the transmission was acting up. And I know it was just valve bodies, but I was buying the car from a dealer. So I took that back, wound up buying my Durango RT, and it's got a rattly exhaust. And it needs wheels because it's got the stock 20s. See, that's where I'm thinking though, Richard, because with IAA auctions and Copart, by the way, all those guys also, I'm calling out a lot of YouTubers. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just a guy that makes YouTube videos. But a lot of these YouTubers, right? They go to IAA and Copart and they film out there. They don't allow that. There's three of them in my area, right? And I went to two of them to look at cars. They refused to let me go out there with a buddy, and they refused to let me film out there. So auto auction rebuilds and all those idiots down in Florida who are just buying them and then they film inside there, they're just filming when they're not supposed to. Either that or they have an arrangement with the Copart. And I think it's bullshit, but you know, whatever. But you can buy complete SS Camaros that have been like rolled over, hit in the back, whatever. If you don't need the rear end, because you can use the BMW rear end, you're just gonna have to get a drive shaft made. So I would probably try to find like a rollover or a wreck, something like a tree fell on the top of it, and then gut it. Take all your computers and put them in there. Or there's plenty of companies that make standalone stuff, and if you're running a T56, you just get a race pack gauge pack. Those look cool anyways. Say frick it for the rest of it and send it. Just don't get a salvage title one in a state that makes it a bitch to get them inspected. GLE coupe with an LS swap. That would be insane. Have I seen the new Integras? No. Let's see. New Integra. Let's see. Well, hey, at least it's got a manual. All right, I'm going to throw this out there. It looks very Alfa Romeo. It's not a bad thing to say that, but like the headlights, the way they're designed, the way that the entire front end comes back into the fenders, makes it look very much like a Giulia. If they would just make it with an all-wheel drive system, Honda missed the boat with that shit. If they had done the Civic and all-wheel drive, they would have crushed the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Rules don't apply if you have millions of subs. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. You remember when I got channel struck? Some asshole, I don't care, we're in this long enough, some asshole complained because I made fun of them, and I got a channel strike, and then my channel got almost deleted, and I actually spent 4 hours fighting with YouTube over it. So yeah, long complicated story, but I now have a shorts. I was offered a shorts manager, and I think I need to take them up on it, because it's usually the shorts viewers that are getting me the problems. Like when I compare two guns and the idiot's saying I'm trying to sell it, and then I have to go through 4 appeal processes in order to get it removed. It's a pain in the ass. Be back later. You just got a call for help. Well, good talking to you, James. Thank you so much. Hello with J&J. Yeah, I like the old, do you remember the CLs, the Acura CLs? They were built on the Accords. Again, same problem. Front wheel drive, too much power. But yeah, he wasn't saying big black lady. Big booty lady? Big booty Latina. I'm Asian. I can kind of be playfully racist. Let's see. Yeah. It was a big pain in the ass, though, because there were so many rules when they had the Pentastar agreement, which was Mitsubishi and Chrysler working together. Here's a tip for you. If you need parts for the Mitsubishi Eclipse, just get them from a Neon. Anything up to the turbo engine, you can use any of the engine control modules from a Dodge Neon that has the same engine, just, you know, without the turbos. ran into that problem. We had an Eclipse. Actually, we got around it completely because we had an Eclipse that was having a body control module problem, and we took one out of a Eagle, the Eagle TSI, the Talon. It was a lot. You can't show guns on live stream, bro. YouTube does not allow guns on live stream. If I was on Twitch or something, I could show you guns, but you cannot show firearms on live streams. Sorry, man. Bibble, bubble, bibble, bubble. Go back to that Japanese site. Before I got distracted with that Aristo. I still want that car. I'm doing things. You think I come here for you? I'll come here for me. Let's see if they've sold any R34s yet. There's an R32, 25 grand. There was an auto, MR2, MR not. Let's see. R34 GTT sedan for 31. Only rear-wheel drive, and it only had the 4-cylinder, the RB25. They have not had too many GTRs recently. Probably because the border's opened up for over 25-year-old cars now. All the GTRs are being picked over. And it is winter. Oh, man. I want that Aristo. Hey, somebody super chat me 40 grand. There's taxes. Chaser. Fair Lady Z32. Oh, that was that custom one. That finally sold for 40. Somebody copied the one from, oh, there you go. See, this is why you got to come to Virginia. 2-door, manual transmission, rear-wheel drive one. Sold for $26,000. That's actually cheap. $28,000, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Keck. Keck Europe. Keck Europe. Yeah. Yeah, the Galant was its own chassis, and it was a beautiful car. Thankfully, they represented it after Gran Turismo 2. Finally, they brought it into like Forza. Do you remember when Chrysler came out with the LeBaron with the Lotus engine, the 4-door, the Spirit RT, had the Shelby/Lotus turbo 4-cylinder with the manual transmission? Had one of those that had been built up. Richard, I take checks. Third party, out of state, written in crayon. You betcha. LeBaron Maserati. Yes, the LeBaron Maserati. That was before they actually made their own convertible. It was sold under the Maserati brand. They put the Maserati logo and everything on it. But yeah, the R33 and then the blue R34 from 4 or 5 was also crushed. That's on YouTube somewhere because that one was here illegally. For those of you that don't know, if you're interested in cars, we'll take a brief history lesson. When I was selling cars in the early 2000s, R34s were legal. You could get R34s on eBay for like 30 grand. And my dealership in Minnesota, we did. And I got to drive one. It was a beautiful experience. There was a company called Motorex out of California. They were supposed to bring R34s into the country. I think R33s too, but mostly it was the R34s that got them into trouble. They brought R34s into the country. They were supposed to replace the side impact in the doors, all the seat belts and the glass and the airbags, because they had airbags in the 98s. And then they were supposed to do all this work and then certify the cars, and then they would get their U.S. stamps. However, that certification cost $50,000. So then all of a sudden a $30,000 car became a $100,000 car because you had all the costs involved and whatnot. So Motorex issued 212 cars with bad paperwork. Those cars are still legal to own if you get in touch with a lawyer. Don't let them take those cars. If you're one of the few people that own them, I think like 85 or 90 of them are still existing, even with the bad papers, because they were stamped. They are technically legal, but you will have to convert them. But because they did it illegally, the U.S. government shut down Motorex. That wasn't the nail in the coffin. That came a few years later when a guy named Kaizo, or he was a cop out of Florida, came up with a plan to bring the cars in. He called his company was Kaizo Industries. He was bringing R34s and engines separate. You can do that. You can bring in a chassis without the engine and call it a kit car. It was titled as a Kaizo Industry R34. So you could do that, and then you'd buy an engine and put it in the car. The problem he had, and this was a totally avoidable thing, yet he got all fucking full of himself, was he brought the original engine to the original car and put the numbers matching cars back together, because a lot of the ATESA all-wheel drive systems and the engine control modules are specific to cars. So instead of having to reprogram them, you just put the engine back in. He's the reason you couldn't import an R34 until this year. So Kaizo, Motorex, Japanese LLC. Give me a shout out to them. Call them up. Tell them you saw them on my channel. Maybe they'll give me a discount on that Aristo. Let's see. That was a long rant. I apologize about that. I dated a chick who had one. One of you had bad taste. Let's see. I want an R34 so bad. A buddy had a 93 right-hand type R-Teggy. Screw daily driving, right-hand drive in the States. It is annoying. Yep. There's a company called Engine Land LLC. They're up in Canada. They're a good source for JDM parts at a reasonable price. I was really into the JDM scene. I actually had a 98 Civic SI Coupe that had a 1991 SI B16 in it from Engine Land. Traded it for something. I don't remember. Oh yeah, money. Why do you have to replace those parts on top of the certification? Well, you couldn't get the certification until you replace those parts. But the reason being is Japanese traffic laws, Japanese cars, Japanese size of vehicles, the crash impact bars on the R34s were too low because most cars in Japan are smaller. So they had to raise them up and I think angle them. There was specific places where the bars have to be to protect side impact. The glass was not safety glass in Japan at that time. So the glass didn't meet US crash rating. So for example, the windshields, I don't know if the lamination wasn't right, but if you crack a windshield on a modern vehicle, there's a layer in between that holds the glass together and it keeps the glass from just shattering in your face. I believe older regulations for Japanese cars, they weren't required to have that. And then the seat belts weren't to the standard of today or of the United States crash ratings. So you had to do all that in order to make the cars legal for US roads, because they don't have 80,000 pound semis all the time on the freeways in Japan like we do here. Rentec, you were good friends with the owner. Rentec was cool. Rentec did some Porsches, didn't they too? Saabs are really nice. There's a dealer up near me that has a 9.5 with the manual with a blown turbo seal that I'm trying to get off him for $1,000. If I can get that off for $1,000, I'd put that back together. You had a DeLorean. Yep. Oh, you sent it to England, closer to its original home. Yeah, DeLoreans are cool. That was a hell of a story. I watched a guy build one from parts he found in a barn. It was online. This was back when blogs were a thing, not vlogs. And I watched him rebuild one that a guy had completely taken apart. All of a sudden, I can't remember the name of it because I'm trying to think of it, but I watched a guy completely reassemble one and do twin turbos to it. He had a GTS Viper in 2014. Never had one. It was always a goal of mine. Always was a goal of mine. When I say the seal, I think I mean for the oil return line. Doesn't it have a seal? Or is that a one of those? My brain isn't working. You know what I mean? But yeah, if I do wind up buying it, that's all it needs. It needs a turbo. I wouldn't mess with it too much. It's actually in really good shape. It's got like 140K on it, but yeah, just a gasket. Got it. You blew a seal on a Viper. How'd you do that? No, I don't know if the archive still exists, but I'll show you a car I drove to the premiere of the first Fast and Furious, which will tell you how old I am. Hold on. Let's see if they still have it. Oh my God, they do. They do. 1LE. Let's see. Hold on. I'm checking really quick. I was part of a bunch of online groups, again, back before there was anything. Fuel coming. Holy crap. Check this thread out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find this one that I had. Berlin, Adam Morrison. I'm actually surprised this thing is still here. I thought it was gone. No. No. All right, I can't find it, but I used to drive a nice CCA race car on the street. God damn it, Joe. I can't remember my logins. It's been 10 years. Jim. California. Hold on, I'm coming back. Piston. Hey. 13 watching. Yay, 82 minutes. We've been going for 82 minutes and I have not found anything. Learn about healthcare. Hell no, go away. Where is my ship? Oh, there it is. Jumpin' Joe. Here I am. That was the name I was under. I was under Jumpin' Joe. Jumpin' Joe. God, still says I'm in Minnesota. Oh yeah, Minnesota, don't you know? All right, so that was a long wait for a shitty picture, but if you were in Minnesota around 2002 or 2003, you probably got ripped by me in that car. That was a 1989 Chevy Camaro 1LE SCCA runoff car. Guy's name was Michael Williams. He was the 2001 champ in that car. It had 6,000 miles on it, and when I bought it, it still had slicks on it, and it still had its roll cage. And I blew up the transmission in 5,000 miles, and it got stolen at 12,000 miles. You had no idea I was a car guy. If you go way back, when I started it, I did video game stuff. And I was working for a Ford dealership, and I started looking at their cars, and then I went to Chevrolet, and I was working on looking at their cars. Yeah, I am a car dude. It started when I took the job at the other dealership, and I had, over the course of 3 years, 11 IROCs, 2 Mustangs, a Firebird, and a bunch of other cars. Jeep Grand Wagoneer that I wish I still had, because those are skyrocketing, and I sold it for $800. But yeah, I've always been a car guy too. Yay. Yeah, I was on all those forums back in the day. We were all posting pictures and all that shift. Let me see here, X out of that, because now that I remember my name, I can find the thread where I can show you what it looked like when the bastard stole it. So I left it at the dealership because we were putting a power steering pump in it. The power steering pump went out, and anybody that's driven a Camaro without a power steering pump, you know how bad that is. I wonder how many people are sitting at the other lab going, why hasn't he started yet? Was that me? Why would I be listed in that one? Herbert, go back. Huh. Why is it not showing my threads? Got 133 posts. Let me see my posts. You some bitches. Last active in 2015. That'll tell you how long it was. Oh yeah, owned an 89 Lincoln Town Car, 32-foot limo with the 302. I don't know why you bought it. Fun taking the, yeah, there you go. Yeah, for the longest time I worked at this little car dealership, like I said. I worked there from 2001 to 2011 with a few years where I was doing my own body shop. And I jokingly said I never owned a car long enough to change the oil. And that's basically the truth. By the end of the first or second year, I stopped doing paperwork and I just drove cars with dealer tags because my boss knew that I was going to trade the car in or sell it anyway. So basically he would buy me cars to drive. The worst one I ever bought, though, cost me like $20,000. I bought a Volvo C70. This was in 2006. It was a 99. It had 30,000 miles on it. Excuse me. And the first indication that something was wrong was the fact that it had no coolant in it. Can you imagine what went wrong with the Volvo XC or C70? It was a C70 high pressure turbo, so it was a harder to find engine, but it had a blown head gasket. So I trusted my coworker. This was before I did my own work. I trusted him to help me rebuild the engine, and we were only able to work on Sundays. So we took a year to disassemble the engine. I had it decked. The head was, I think we took 20 thousandths or 25 thousandths off, a lot off. Gutted the cat, so it made it a little bit higher flowing because Minnesota, they didn't check anything. And we put it back together. So I paid $18,000 on the car. I paid it off in like 8 months because I wanted it paid off. And I was working at a car dealership. I was making good money. So we paid it off. It didn't move for a year and a half. Finally get it running. Cost me $1,000 to get it timed, because if you've ever worked on those 5-cylinder high-pressure Volvo engines, they have 52 head bolts or 52 valve cover bolts, because the top of the valve cover for a Volvo 5-cylinder is actually the cam journals. So yeah, 52 bolts. And it had a 4-part timing system on it. So I actually had to pay a guy because it was out of time when it got reassembled. Should have told you everything I need to know about the other mechanic. And during that time that he was screwing up that engine, I learned all about mechanics that I needed to. You know, I can do bearings and while the engines are still in the car. But we get that car back. I get 300 miles on it. It has a little oil leak because my buddy didn't put it back together right. So I start taking the valve cover off. Mother father turns the cam the wrong direction, throws the engine out of time. And yeah, so I lost $20,000 on that car in a year because I sold it for $2,000. That'll learn you. You know exactly what I'm. Thank you. Thank you so much for knowing. But yeah. Yep. After that, I went back to my dumb V8s. I love my Durango. It's got the 5.7 liter Hemi. Unlike the Ram pickup trucks, the engine is fully exposed, so I can get to all the spark plugs, the fuel lines, anything I need to change. For example, when I decide to do the 6.4 cam into it next year, and the 6.4 heads, and a supercharger. So yeah, I can work on an American car with a Bob the Builder toolkit and this pair of pliers. Almost bought one of those. Those are awesome cars. When I was looking during COVID, and SUVs were a little bit rare, man, everything I say has a story behind it, and that's just weird. But no, I had a 20. So if you see my channel banner, there's a Mustang in there. That was my 2014 Mustang GT Track Pack. It was the first car I bought brand new. I'd always paid cash and bought used cars, so I bought this car brand new, and I put 150,000 miles on it in like 6 years. But yeah, I love that car, but it got keyed twice, and I decided to sell it. So I got rid of that in 19. I bought an F-150, a 2016 F-150 for like 23 grand, fully loaded, very nice truck. This was pre-COVID. Wound up having another surgery in 2021, traded it for a Chrysler 300 Hemi, got hit 41 days after I bought that car. Transmission clicked because I got hit. I was stopped. Dude hit me in the back at 40 miles an hour, stalled the car in first gear, and it had a click in the transmission ever since then. So I traded that in just before the COVID shit happened, and I bought a 2017 Ram with 30-some thousand miles on it. Sold it with 50,000 miles. I bought it with 30,000 miles on it. Now I got the 15 Ram Hemi. So I like my dumb American stuff. Haha, I can tow 7,700. No, I know what you're talking about. I got to get tires. It's running some standard Michelin. I think they're all seasons, but they're not that great. I get a lot of wheel spin. How long have I been talking? An hour and 32. So, anyways, like I said, these are Ask Me Anything. So, tell me anything, ask me anything. By the way, I'm starting the tattoos on this side next year. But yeah, let me know what you guys are doing, man. You guys got any plans for the holiday? This is how you do live streams, right? You just kind of do this. I don't know. I haven't done them from the office yet. Only from my house. I don't really have anything to do here. I'm gonna try to open this drawer with pliers. Anybody need a Microsoft Surface charger? What's the next gun review? It was originally going to be my FX9. I bought an FXN9 or FNX9 from FN, but it turns out I did a video 3 years ago. So the next video is actually going to be on a Hellcat Pro suppressor ready. That one will be followed up by a 509 mid that I'm actually going to compare the 509 to the FNX. Then I've also got a 320 that's been customized, an M17 with custom trigger and sights and stuff. And then what was the fourth gun? Oh, Canic Meta. I think I did one of those already. But I think the next one's going to be the Hellcat Pro. I haven't really looked at a Hellcat Pro. Which Gerson Regard review? Did you do it on the black one or the white one? Sorry, that's creepy. Yes, SIG FCU and the Smith & Wesson use fire control units, yep. I would get the Pro. If you're going to get a Meta, get the Pro. I just think it looks cooler, and you can get the threaded barrel option. I have suppressors, so I like threaded barrels. You bought the bronze one. Nice. What else? The APX is actually a chassis system. Beretta APX A1. It's a pain in the ass to get out, and they suck to disassemble for cleaning. That's something nobody tells you about. You had an APX A1 yet? Holy crap. It's like 4 steps just to take the slide off. You have to be trained to take that stupid thing apart. Anybody else watch Tim Hawkins? He's a funny comedian. Best 1911 pistols in 2024. Number 1 will definitely shock you. I'm going to guess a 1911 will be the best 1911. I can't watch any of this stuff while we're on live stream, but let's see. This is what happens when you go to the range with competition shooters. Some QC issues. No shit. Sorry. I'm just trying to see if there's something fun we can talk about. We're dropping off in viewers. What do I have to do? Do you need to see my butt? Do I need to act like I'm a OnlyFam? I'll be an OnlyFam for you. Honda Tornado. It's a Civic. It's an 11th. Oh no, it's an Accord. And it's an automatic. Who wants a right-hand drive automatic Accord? I could have been something, but my wife wouldn't let me. And it's just a B18. You can build one of those anywhere. That Evolution looks kind of cool, though. Sorry, every time I keep on turning, I want to look at this page. Thoughts on PSA rifles? Well, I have 2 of their lowers. I've got. Sorry. I've got the Virginia lower, but it's got the Franklin Armory binary in it, and it's got a $1,200 unique AR top on it. You might have seen the video I did on their upper. They sent me the upper and an extra handguard. I'm getting the handguard set up for the 300 blackout build. Pretty decent stuff, although I changed the charging handle in the bolt carrier group already, but I liked it. But PSA, their Jackal, that's fine. I'm not a rifle guy. I'm more of a handgun guy. I have rifles. I got a bunch of rifles right through there, but no, I don't own many rifles. Sorry, don't hate me. My first handgun was a 1911. Richard, that's why I like 1911s. My first handgun was actually the Rock Island 9mm TCM Combo 17-round double stack. I shot that thing amazingly the first time I took it out. One of my first gun videos on the channel actually was a day at the range, and from like 10 yards away, 12 yards away, we were hitting quarters that we had set up on a thing. First time shooting that thing, so you got to give me some credit. That was pretty good. Nowadays, I can barely hit the broadside of a barn when I'm aiming at the barn. My ear just popped. Oh shit. Maybe that's what I'm buying instead. Nope, it's a 4-door. Damn it. They got a 98 GTR Skyline, but it's a 4-door. I don't want a 4-door. And I think it's the 4-cylinder. No, it's a 6-cylinder, but it's the RB25. It's not as good. John Browning's shop is about some miles. Sorry, the heart thing is in the way. 30 miles away from your house. That is cool. I just respect the hell out of the guy. He built some really nice guns. His patents have led to really nice guns. And I give credit where it's due. I like to troll the shit out of Glock people, but again, the guns work. CZ, guns work. Obviously the high powers are beautiful guns. They work. I don't know. I don't know what my favorite will be moving down the line, but for now I can always go back to a 1911, pick it up, and shoot the shit out of it. So All right, looks like we're losing some viewers, and it's just the three of us still here. So I'm gonna actually probably end this one because it was a little impromptu. I only gave you a few hours warning. I think I'll do another one on Wednesdays because I don't have any videos planned on Wednesdays. So think of some questions, come back. That's your homework. Leave me some messages, do all that fun stuff, and I answer them all. So just whenever you're just questioning things, just go ahead and leave me a comment on the newest video or send me an email. Everything's listed. So, Richard, have a good night. Anybody that's still here, you guys have a great night. So, we're at 140, whatever, 140. So, I'm going to kill this now. So, I'm going to take off. You guys have a great one, okay? Love, 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 love. Lidl. Talk to you guys later.